are these people?
The lovely Sabby Sabs did an interview with Mr. Khanna. When was that? Yesterday? Day before
Yeah,
yesterday?
she did it, I believe,
Monday.
on Monday, but
Yeah.
she premiered it yesterday.
Hmm.
So I won't.
Which I don't know why didn't she do it live? Do you know?
I
I
thought
have
she
no
did.
idea. No, she didn't.
No,
Okay.
she pre-recorded it and then premiered it.
Yeah,
Smart.
And I'm wondering if that was like on Ro Khanna's side. He doesn't want to be live or something.
I would imagine.
Maybe.
Imagine he didn't want it live.
Could be Sabby too, not wanting to deal with, trolls and chat.
Probably too. But yeah, I mean, it's Ro Khanna. You're gonna get, if those of you who saw it, it's Ro Khanna. So if you want to lose a couple of brain cells watching the interview, or at least just to show Sabby some support,
Yeah.
watch it. But I mean, there's nothing really of substance that I could really say about it. But I did want to highlight something that I think, speaking of the marches for Medicare for All, like Ro kind of did a little oopsie.
Oopsie.
In terms of something that he said about it, and obviously knowing Savage Joy and Vicky knowing a little bit more about it, that those, if you do not know, like, you may not have been able to catch it, but I was able to mention it on stream yesterday and kind of followed up with on Twitter yesterday. So yeah, if like I said, I'm not gonna spare you guys with playing the whole clip, but oh, what happened?
Did it work? Or is it just not play?
It's not playing for me.
Have to ask in reference to healthcare in this country, because a lot of the squad members ran on Medicare for All. We had marches in this country last year in over 50 cities for Medicare for All. There's another march this Saturday that's going to be in DC, the Medicare for All march. And I have to tell you, I have been greatly disappointed to see that some of the same politicians that ran on that issue chose not only to not attend those marches, but not even to tweet about it. Cori Bush was the only one that came. And as an organizer, like, it's really frustrating when you hear politicians tell you to organize on the outside, and we're organizing on those issues that they ran on, and they're not showing up. So at this point, some of us are asking, like, why should we even support them going forward?
Well, I'm a strong supporter of Medicare for All. I think we have to be bold in having hearings on it and supporting Bernie Sanders' bill. It's good for America. I mean, it's good for our businesses. It's good for manufacturing. It's necessary, if ever, in a pandemic. I mean, the stories you hear of people still getting stuck with bills and debt for going to the hospital, for getting healthcare are outrageous. And we ought to cancel medical debt in this country. Now, I think we need a better system of making sure those of us who are strongly pro-Medicare for All are aware of the activism and the marches. And I'd be happy to show up in the future, especially if they're in my district or in Washington, to those kind of marches. I met with a group, Medicare for All group, that is doing great work, and they wanted me to work on canceling medical debt. And I reached out to Senator Sanders. We're working on a bill to cancel that, about $290 billion of medical debt. But I am all for continuing to build and organize on that, and just need to figure out how do we get a better sense of communication so we know about the marches and can show up.
Well, I can tell you, I contacted multiple politicians, like offices. A lot of us did, and we were given the same story. At least I did for my state, for Massachusetts. I can't speak for your state, California, but we were given the same stories that, okay, we'll pass this message along, and then we never heard anything back. And I know that people can't be there all the time at every event. I totally get it, but I feel like they could have at least tweeted about it in some type of.
Was the march in DC?
Yeah, there was one in DC last year, and there's one in DC this Saturday.
This past Saturday?
This Saturday coming up. July
He doesn't
3rd.
but
even know.
The challenge also is that
He's like, when
Saturday
was it
Congress
again?
is out of session. So I think when they do these marches, and we're
That's
back in our
crazy.
district. So I think they have to pick a date also that members of Congress or during votes or when Congress is in session. Because a lot of times then when Congress is not in session on a weekend or in August, then members should be going back home. And so they come back home to our districts. But I am for these marches, and I would be delighted and happy to participate and certainly to tweet out about anything that supports Medicare for all.
Yeah.
Let's get it straight off the bat. The tweet part is that's the best we're gonna get. There's
Right.
nothing more.
We'll tweet about it.
I'll give it a tweet. That's about it though. I can't really.
I can boop a button. That's what I can do.
Yeah, and I mean show that tweet because it's so like bland and like nonchalant. It's like I support this march on Saturday for Medicare for all.
I'm Khanna, and I support this message of stuff that won't happen right now because of me. Yeah, anyway.
But here's the thing though. So like if you want to pull up the next slide, Reef.
Yep.
Like I'm not sure if you could see it here, but in the chat, I was like, someone tell Joy and Ricky that Khanna forgot about the marches.
Right.
And there's a reason for that. Because if you turn to the next slide, you will see that this happened, I think, back in April.
Yes,
So
I remember this tweet.
So Ricky and Savage Joy met with Khanna at Capitol Hill. And just to read what on the tweet, it says, "We are appreciative that Khanna invited us to meet him with DC to discuss national improved Medicare for all. Among our concerns is medical debt. Rep. Khanna told us he will reach out to Senator Sanders about collaborating on legislation to cancel medical debt."
Sabby said his team made the decision for it to be recorded, and it had also rescheduled twice that day. So just a little bit of information for you.
You really didn't want to do it. That's why.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. Yeah. So then fortunately, this was from yesterday. Savage Joy, I guess upon watching Khanna on this stream, tweeted out to him in response, "Khanna, just watched you on Sabby and deeply disappointed by your response to Marches for Medicare for All 14 minutes in. We are the same people who met with you and convinced you to do a bill with Bernie Sanders on medical debt cancellation and doing the march. You already knew about our march because, one..." Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. "Your assistant asked us to Zoom with him 2 weeks ago to give him more info and say you'll be stopping by. I told him we were not having any candidates or reps to speak, but everyone is welcome to come. He then said you will be stopping by. Furthermore, we will never organize a march around," I think she said around Congress's schedule. "Have a march on a weekday. Also, the importance of Saturday, it is the anniversary of Medicare. Our organization does not revolve around electoral politics. We're about helping humanity. We, the people, are claiming our voices. It is of no consequence of reps show up or not." So that's what she responded. And then Roe responded back to her with this: "Respect and admire your march, but I am back in the district when you are marching. We'll show up for future..."
When was it again?
Right.
What?
Right. "We'll show up to future marches when I'm in DC for sure."
I didn't see this.
So
But he's
to
ba-
which,
Okay, so he's gotcha. Right. He's like, I gotta wash my hair that weekend.
Right.
Oh man,
You know,
I gotta feed my cat. Sorry.
I gotta feed my cat. I gotta get a cat first. But you
Yeah,
know,
I was actually going cat shopping that day, that very day.
so
I
the
already
next
scheduled it
slide,
out.
yep.
Sorry.
so seeing all of this,
Good for you.
I
Good
responded
for
with this:
you, Savage.
"You like sack of shit. you knew about the marches, but you have no interest in attending because you are afraid of the implications regarding your future career plans in government. Even if you were not coming, a tweet of support prior to this weekend would be meaningful.
Well,
so
golf clap for that one. You know, like
tweet harder.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll tweet about it.
Yeah, I'll give it a tweet. I'll give it a tweet.
So then, so then March Madness for all, we will accept a tweet.
Yeah, pay
That's
up.
all you're gonna get. That's all you're gonna get.
Well, to which Ro responded to that.
Happy to tweet out.
Happy to tweet out. DM me the details. And apparently, Greg, you saw just now.
He tweeted it out like 20 hours ago.
He tweeted it out.
He did tweet it out. He did just. I sent the link in chat.
Yeah.
He literally just like, I support this.
Right.
And
then I just added this tweet. A tweet would be the consolation because we definitely have the receipts. So
yeah, I'll pull it.
Yeah.
Here.
So, I mean, again, are we surprised at this? No. But is this really shady? Sure. But I think especially, and I think knowing Ricky and Savage Joy and knowing that they spoke with Khanna personally in Capitol Hill, you know, the fact that I was able to remember that and being able to kind of say, I'm sure they told you about the marches back in the spring when they met with you. And then he was just kind of like, oh, I didn't know about it. Was it this weekend? And all that kind of stuff. It was just kind of like,
when was it again?
Right.
He didn't tweet this out, by the way. His intern did.
Yes.
Well, yeah, whatever. But, you know, like.
That's why it's so poorly worded. Like, I support this. We need Medicare for all right now.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean. So. I mean, shout out to Sabby. I know she's in the chat for doing this interview because, like I said, you know, you had the patience of a saint because I cannot have imagined doing that interview for more than 5 minutes without, like, basically yelling at him. But
I do admire that a lot.
Yeah.
Like, Sabby, you got like you push back, but like in the most effective way possible.
Right.
It's about
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, it's just, and the thing is, like, I know this, and I know this because I heard Joyce say this. I'm not sure if it was Ro, but I definitely know it was some other members of the squad. This has happened before. You know, she has met with, it was either Ro, like maybe about a few years ago. I think it was Ro.
Yeah.
And I want to say it probably was, who else did she meet with? Jayapal, and talk to them personally about her issues regarding medical bills, regarding the need for Medicare for all. And you know, and they just gave her the lip service stand of being like, oh, you know, we will do something, you know, like, and all that kind of stuff. And so the fact that, so knowing all of that, because Joy mentioned it, like when I went to the Force to Vote rally a couple years ago, that's when I first met Joy in person, and she mentioned that, you know, when she was speaking that. So the fact that, like, Ro, so this is not the first time she has met with Khanna, but the idea, like, he just actively just basically gave no fucks in terms of, like, the issue that he and the squad ran on.
Right.
You know, it's just really sick. And so it's just kind of like,
well, and from all the interviews I've seen of him, like, I've always got the opinion that you know, it's just straight, like, obfuscation. Like, don't really ever answer a question, just constantly avoid stuff, and then, like, the interview's over.
Right.
Like, you
which
know,
he did that whole interview.
Yeah.
So, you know, so yeah, so I mean, Jimmy's like, his district is Silicon Valley. So yeah, so obviously we know that he's tied to corporate interests. We are suspecting right now that he's probably trying to say the right stuff, just so like not in 2024, but probably in 2028, we
Yeah.
can make a presidential run. So I think he's just being very careful so as to kind of give the appearance of, oh yeah, I'm a progressive, but still tied to corporate interests that, you know, that could probably help him, you know, in terms of, you know, if he does choose to run for a higher office. But I don't know, like this. But at the end of the day, like I said, I just feel bad for people, you know, like Joy, especially, who, not to say that she's looking necessarily for them to actually do something, but the idea, like, and it's not just her, but the idea that for many of us, if we ever meet these politicians and we basically bare our souls to them with the issues that we're struggling with, and we're looking to them to say, you know, like, help us in some way to know, like, you to give us hope, and they don't give that to people. I think it's just really like, it's just really saddening to me that, you know, you just take our stories and basically you're just like, for your convenience in terms of us voting for you, and then once you're in office, you don't do anything with that. So
yeah. No, crazy.